Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brandon Harris with Freedom Movement USA. We have got the Red Pill Sailor, Marcus Brown with us. How you doing today, Marcus?
What's going on, y'all? I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. So you went from last year making it to the White House to heading off to the Navy now. What's that all about, man?
Yeah, so yeah, I don't even know where to start. But in terms of the Navy, that's really been my primary focus lately. I just enlisted in October, and I'm shipping off 5 days from today. So on January 8th, I'll be starting basic training.
Wow. So I got to ask, and I just talked to you about this on the phone, but you're going on 35. Most guys jump in at a really young age. What career shift did you have happen that made you get into the Navy this late in the game?
Really procrastinating. I'm going in at 34, but I actually be turning 35 in basic training. Hopefully, I'll be graduating on time. My projected graduation date is the 6th. So yeah, my birthday's on the 3rd, and I'll be graduating on the 6th. But in terms of the military, like at first I had no real interest in it. I always had friends that was going in and out of the military, but I just didn't think it was for me. I never really considered it. And as I made more conservative friends and made more friends, veteran friends, and I saw like the way it has affected their life for the better. I said, maybe I should, maybe it's, and I didn't even say it was a good look for me. I wanted to recommend it for other people, like younger people, but dealing with inner city youth, they were just like me. They wasn't really receptive to that idea. And the more I tried to tell people, like, no, this is not a bad look, I was like, look, man, let me stop trying to sell this to other people, and I'm gonna jump on it myself if I qualify. And so I looked into different branches, and I like mentally I qualified, physically I qualified, but in terms of the tattoo policies, the Navy had the more lenient tattoo policies, and they also had rates that I was interested in. I'm going in as an equipment operator at CBs, so that's just the look for me. But the hurdle that I had to get over really is not the age. I had to learn how to swim because I didn't know how to swim when I enlisted. So like I literally taught myself how to swim like within the past few months.
Seriously?
Yeah, man. I know I fit the black guy stereotype, but yeah, dude, it was.
I never, in my life,
The last
I don't think
thing I
I've
thought I
ever
would
met
end up
anybody who
doing.
didn't swim.
What you say?
I said in my life, I don't think I've ever met anybody who didn't swim.
Oh, you ain't you. I know you know some other black guys from Chicago, like my friend Aaron Clary. Shout out to him. He's an author. He's another conservative friend of mine, and he jokes about that all the time. Like, why can't any of my black friends swim? And
See, I never
Minnesota, they got like all these lakes, and they do boat parties all the time. I've been to boat parties, pool parties, beach parties, all that, and just never had a desire to swim.
Really, that is it. I never, for me, I never knew that category. There's a lot of other things growing up. I was the 15-year-old that had the 360 wave booth because I was trying to get my wave. But I lived in a group home for most of my teen years, and I was the minority in my group home. So I learned about hot sauce. I learned about a lot of things. But man, I tried so damn hard to get my waves in. I did buy the Fat Farms, brand new off the shelf, brand new Jabot pants. You'd see me going to bed with the new
labels on the front of the pants. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, that's from being young, man. But you being a conservative, how did you get involved with Charlie Kirk and the Brexit movement making it to DC last year?
With a young black leadership program, that was something put together by Turning Point USA. I don't know Charlie Kirk personally, but he is also from Chicago, so I always kind of mess with him on that. I'm like, welcome home, Charlie, whenever he's in Chicago. But yeah, I did. My first Turning Point USA event was here in the city, and that's when I met him. And he was like, look, see if you can make it to this. We just met. I'm like, dude, you asked me to go to DC. I don't think I can make it. I don't know how I'm going to pay for any of this. He was like, if you can make it, let me know. And I went out there, met a lot of other black conservatives. Actually, I had met more black conservatives through CPAC earlier that year. So that wasn't my first time to DC, but it was the first time that we was able to see like that many people from across the country just united and specifically going to the White House. So that was like a once in a lifetime opportunity for me, even though they're doing it more and more. For me, that just sealed the deal. And I was like, okay, I wish the media would have covered more of that and covered it in a positive light, because it was really a fun event. it was a good networking opportunity. And for the younger people, I feel like that made it more acceptable, because when you're coming from the inner city, like you're automatically outcasted. If I could share this, like you and I kind of talked about that with the music scene, because I got a background with the Chicago music scene also. And yeah, man, like when anything becomes politicized, people just divide. It's like they pick sides, and I try my best not to do that, but that's just the nature of politics to an extent. It's something about it that makes people pin each other against each other. And I was glad to see that the younger people are not going to have to go through being outcasted as much as somebody like, say, me, because I don't know any other people, any other young Black conservatives in Chicago. And when we come across each other, it's like this secret society. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, you gang, all right, gang over here, that type of thing.
We got Cornell Darden, who was the former Will County Young Republican chair, and he's a good buddy of mine. And he tells me the same thing a lot. We have a candidate running right now for Senate, and he goes, "That's very weird to see." And I asked him, and I said, well, "Why is that?" Because he's a Black Republican. He goes, "You don't understand." And what is the cultural difference? I know in my community, I grew up with half Democrat, half Republican family. But in the Black community, what is the big difference when it comes to being a Republican or a Democrat? How is that interwoven into the past? How's that interwoven into the history?
This is my theory, because I don't want to speak as if I'm like a professional on this, but just from my observation, it's two main things. One, a lot of conservative circles, you will instantly notice the patriotism. So you see American flags everywhere. You see everybody's proud to be an American. You singing patriotic songs. It's really go America, and I think for some reason, I hate saying the so-called Black community, there's a bit of resentment there, because we're raised talking about don't forget the history behind America and how slavery has contributed to that. And then that pulls you into this whole conversation about oppression and the system and all that stuff. So just not even being a conservative, just being pro-American in certain communities is a problem. And it's like stigmatized. So that's one reason I would say you don't see a lot of inner city Black folks that's just real patriotic. You don't see that a lot. And if you do, you start to question it, like being in the hood, basically. The second thing is government assistance, because there is a lot of government assistance that's going on that people have utilized within generation. This is like intergenerationally. So you got grandmas, mamas, now their children and their children's children. Like if you got people that's growing up feeling entitled to government assistance to an extent, and feeling like, I don't want to work for anybody. It's weird. It's like it's this sense of false entrepreneurship on one hand, and it's another sense of entitlement. Like the government needs to give me this, or they owe me this. And the reason people justify it is because they look at conservatives like, you guys are just money hungry. You guys are just capitalists. And even capitalism has been demonized in a lot of urban areas. So it gets deep, man, deeper than I even care to talk about, honestly, because I don't like that victim mentality. I don't want to tell people pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just leave it at that either. But it's deep, man. Like trying to really just trying to get people to understand, like, look, you live in a country where there is still some sense of upward mobility. Like I used to take tickets and show people to their seats at White Sox games and at the United Center for Bulls games and stuff like that. That was a good job. I liked it as a high schooler, but I wouldn't be an adult trying to feed my family off of that.
So I mean, you just kind of hit on,
my bad. What'd you say?
You just kind of hit on another big topic that's going on right now, which is the $15 an hour minimum wage. I don't know about you, but man, when I started working, I was at Wendy's for about $8.25 an hour.
Right.
With lemon juice.
Yeah, like my first job was $6.50 an hour, and that was like 2002. So now I'm sharing my age, but like I said, I was in high school. For whatever reason, you got people feeling like they should just get out of 8th grade making 6 figures, and it don't work like that. You got to kind of start somewhere and work your way up. if you're coming from a family that's not contributing to your success. So, and I don't want to say that to demonize families that have structure, that have a foundation for their family. That's what's up. Like more families need to get like that, but not all of us come from that background. And you're gonna have some people that they didn't have a family to put them in school, or they didn't have a family to introduce them into different industries and stuff like that. So you got to start from scratch. But even if that's your case, like this is still a good country to be in to do that. Some places, if you're not plugged, you're just not plugged. You ain't gang, so there is no opportunity for you. And that's why the funny thing about it, like that's why you have people that come from other countries to America, and it's like they learn how to work the system here faster than people that's been born and raised here their whole life. Because they want to. It's people that live here that don't want to contribute to society in that way. They want to give. I'm sorry, they want to take more than they can give, and it don't work like that.
Oh, dude, I agree with you 110%. I got the same type of family, to where half my family is real big capitalists. The other half of my family, I've got cousins and uncles and aunts still on the system, so I get it. Question for you though, man. Just jumping off. I know you got limited time. You got to get to work here.
Right.
But are we going to see you at CPAC this year?
Unfortunately, no. Because that takes place in February. I'll be in basic training until March, and even after basic training, I go to A school in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Oh wow! So you're going straight from basic to Missouri?
Yeah. From a Navy base to an Army base. I think I'll be there for like 11 weeks. But I'm enlisting as a reservist. So once I'm done with A school, I'll be giving my orders to my base that I'll be reported to 1 weekend per month, 2 weeks annual training. Of course, there's always a possibility for deployments, but I signed up for that as part of. I actually want that experience at some point. I just don't know when it's gonna come.
Well, man, I'm looking at the stuff that happened last night with Iran, and our president stood for the country. We definitely went out and did something there. And do you think you'll see a deployment out that way if things continue to increase in escalation?
Possibly. I'm gonna go in as a equipment operator. They call them CBs. So anything construction related, we bound to be sent anywhere. And it doesn't have to be a combat zone. It could literally be anywhere for humanitarian or relief missions. It could be for just our own infrastructure, just fixing stuff up around the homeland. So I'm bound to be sent anywhere. But I'm glad that it's for a rate that it's somewhat aligned with what I was already doing as a truck driver.
Well, that's actually really cool, man. And then my one other question I got, are you doing your full 20?
Say that again.
Are you going to do the full 20 years?
I don't know. I got to get my feet wet and see how I like it. But I signed up for 6, so I'm going to start up with 6 for now.
Wow.
Yeah. And but this is the thing. As a reservist, I'm not some people call them weekend warriors, but you're in a reserve, so it's not necessarily active duty unless you get deployed. But yeah, if I really, really like it, I may consider active duty in the future sometime. But right now, I like my civilian life. I like my civilian jobs. So I kind of got the best of both worlds right now. But part of this decision for me, I guess you could say, is to serve the country, of course, to serve myself on a more bucket list thing. I do want that military experience. I wanted to make the decision before my 35th birthday. And I like that veteran status. I got a lot of respect for veterans. So when I sit down, I talk with them, I thank them for their service. And now it's just crazy to me thinking like, okay, someday people will be thanking me for my service. So
yep,
that's part of why I'm doing this.
So do you have any kids or wives at home that you got to worry about?
No, that's another thing that's making it easier for me. Like I'm single, no kids. The only thing keeping me here in Chicago is my employer at the time and family. I got a few family members still here, but
wow.
all of my childhood friends, all of my even new friends that I've made, I got friends around the world at this point, but they're either not from Chicago or they're from Chicago and they left. So I'm like one of the only people here, and the only thing keeping me here is that. Eventually, I do want to move somewhere outside of Illinois. I love Illinois. Don't get me wrong. This is home. But at some point, I do want to get out that jam. I just don't know where. I haven't been enough places to see where I could see myself. And that's another benefit that I have through the military, just seeing more of the U.S. and seeing more of the world in general.
No, man, I feel you on that. I mean, Illinois, as much as we all love it, is It's been turning worse and worse and worse as time goes on. I watch my mom and stepdad leave last year. It gets weird in your 30s, man. I know you're 34 going on 35. I just turned 30, and I start seeing family leaving. I'm like, wait a minute, where's everybody going? They took
Right.
off. I don't know what to say.
You will see him come back for the holiday. And that's another reason this time is a little hectic for me, because not only am I leaving in 5 days, but around the Christmas holiday, the Christmas break, you get like all these people coming back home, and they'll be like, oh, Marcus, you're in town. Like, I need to see you. So I've been dealing with that. And that's, it's nice to catch up with people. But in a way, I'm just ready to go. I'm like, this day can't come fast enough because I'm ready to get it over with. And I'm sure once I get on the bus, I'll be ready to get back home. So, that's just my personality. I'm always like that.
Oh man, we travel. We're leaving here the same day you leave for basic. I leave to DC to go lobby senators.
Yeah, all the fun is happening, because I saw you invite me to the Algonquin thing and a few other events. So I know y'all gonna be busy.
Oh yeah, we've been so we do a 4-state tour. We're gonna start out in Washington DC, lobbying the senators, come back to Las Vegas, home for 2 days, and then off to San Francisco for the Scott Presler cleanup. And then we just did the Chicago cleanup up there in England, so that was a lot of fun.
Man, much respect to you and your organization and everybody you've been partnering with, because y'all been busy. Like, you and your partner that I met, like, every time I look up, y'all got something going on. And we've been kind of playing back and forth. I'm like, I'm going to catch up with y'all eventually. I hate that it's on such short notice and I'm leaving, but I know y'all going to continue to do y'all thing. I'm just happy to see that. I'm actually excited about this year in general.
Oh, we're just excited about the year, man. I'm happy to have you on. Cornell called me up and he goes, man, I can't believe you got Marcus coming on. I'm not going to be over. He told me it was earlier. I said, hey, man, he goes, the Black Chamber is just booming. He started the Black Chamber, the South Suburban Black Chamber last year. And man, between that, the Young Republicans and Freedom Movement, I don't think there's a day where our wives don't call both of us going, which one of y'all is bringing the other one home and which one are y'all at?
Hey.
But where can people find you if they're looking to follow you? I just want to go ahead and close this off, letting them lead into social media.
Oh, yeah, cool. So, of course, my name is Marcus A. Brown. You can find me under that name on social media. The TheMABexperience, that's another handle that I use. That's more like a traveling vlog, and I just run my mouth about a whole bunch of other, whatever the trending topics is. My military vlogging channel is Red Pill Sailor. So that's the channel that I'm promoting right now, Red Pill Sailor on YouTube. And if you watch that from beginning to end, like, I'm pretty much, besides basic training and things that I can't film, basically I'm just sharing my whole journey from that process, going from a civilian to an active service member.
Wow, man. So guys, if you want to check out Marcus, check out the Red Pill Sailor. I have already kind of peeped on your stuff, man. I noticed you saw a couple of my comments, and I saw you peeped on ours. But guys, Marcus is a great guy. Check him out. Follow his social media. We'll be blasting stuff around with ours while you're out of town, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, and I thank you for what you're doing too.
Thank you very much, man. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a bit later.
Okay, for sure.